The Wuhan virus, coronavirus, COVID-19, the Kung flu, everything you need to know about the coronavirus we're going to talk about today. Alright, what up guys, Andre and Crosspower. Today we're going to talk about everything you need to know about the coronavirus, aka the COVID-19. Everything you need to know, we're going to talk about it today. Alright, so to start off with, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a medical expert. I'm not Dustin Hoffman from Outbreak, or I'm definitely not Alice from Resident Evil. I'm just some dude that just was here since SARS was around. I've studied this thing for a while. If you've been following the channel, I've been here. We've sort of been covering the whole thing since the beginning. And I haven't made a video like this before because it actually hasn't really covered all the details about everything that the virus is about. Obviously, a lot of people don't know all the details about it. It just keeps changing all the time. That's that's just, if you hear that clicking clacking sound, that's PJ just walking around here. He got really long claws, so you can hear that clicking sound. So what I was going to talk about? Yes, so the virus itself has been changed. There's a lot of different studies have been done. As far as I know, the stuff that I'm going to tell you is very, at least mostly accurate. Some new things will keep happening and changing, but all the things we know here is for sure. That's why I didn't really want to say anything before. And don't take my word for this as well. You can actually you should do your own research about it. But this is the stuff that I've researched this a lot in these last couple months. We just spent the whole time researching about this thing. So I'm just going to give you my 2 cents about all the things that we've found about the virus so far. Okay, because there's a lot of different misconceptions out there, a lot of things about on the news, different things are talking about different things about it. So we're going to go through each point by point. So let's see how long it's going to take. The first thing is that this is not a flu. Okay, the coronavirus is not a flu. The death rate is like 10 or 20 times more than the flu. Okay, it's a lot more contagious than the flu. Okay, the flu has been studied and has a vaccination. Okay, COVID-19, it's a new pathogen. It's basically unknown with no vaccine. That's one of the key points. Okay, flu's been around for hundreds of years. Vaccine, you catch a flu, if you're really sick, get a vaccine, it's cool. If you didn't, for example, for this thing, flu doesn't shut down whole economies. The flu doesn't just just destroys shuts down the whole world. Okay, this is obviously a next level than a normal flu. It's a lot more contagious than the flu. Okay, so actually one person, I know it is like how the virus is spread. So actually for the COVID virus, it actually one person can multiply and spread again and again. So it starts off with like 4 people, then it goes to 8 people, then it goes to 16 people, then it goes to 32 people, and just keeps spreading like this. So one person can go up to up to 200 people in 1 month. Just that's also, it's really quickly, it spreads everywhere very quickly. And then that's why you see a lot of things that have been happening that actually just started small and then just keeps going. A lot of people don't notice it in their community at the beginning, but then suddenly boom, the numbers come up and it's really high. So actually when you see it, if it's only a couple people in the community, then actually there's already a lot of people that have it. So that goes to the next thing, is that the official numbers, they're not very accurate in assessing the whole situation. So actually, when you see the test results, the official test results, that's only people that have been tested. Okay, so that doesn't say everybody. So you see like your state or your city has 100 people. It doesn't mean that there's only 100 people. That means there's 100 people means that there's actually 100 people were actually feeling sick enough that they actually went in and were available to get tested, and they went and got tested, and then they actually got tested, and then it was said they got tested positive. So this actually goes back to another thing that we're saying, which I'm going to come back to in a minute, which is basically that 80% of the people show very mild symptoms. Okay, this means like you could have it. You could have nothing. You could just have a little bit of a cough, maybe just a little bit of a sniffle. You think it's just like a normal cold. So 80% shows very mild or no symptoms. Okay, then the 12% of people that have more severe symptoms, and then you have like about the 5% that's going to get really severe symptoms, and then you're going to have the 1 or 2% are going to just that's actually going to die, or actually that's a percentage as a whole, 1 to 2%. But actually, older people can the percentage rate is a little bit higher. Younger people, the percentage is lower. But the main thing about this is going back to the thing is actually if you've got 80% of people that are walking around with no or very minimal symptoms, they're not going to go tested. Why would you go and get tested? So you actually could have the virus yourself, and you could be spreading it around. So this is the thing that makes it very different from something else. This is the scary part, where actually in the community now, there's actually, so for every, when you think there's 10, they'll say there's at least for every one person that's been tested and found, there could be another 10, 20, or even up to 30 people that's been infected that hasn't been tested. So that's going to be something that you guys got to think about. Okay, it's not that's going to be a very, very important thing at the moment. That a lot of people walking around that's actually spreading it that don't even have any symptoms at all. So most people will have in the 5 days, the first 5 days is when you're actually the most contagious. This is when you're going to you could have like a coughing, a sneezing, tired, weakness, and then that's the most contagious part. That's when you're going to be spreading the germs everywhere, spreading to most people. The target demographic is actually mostly people that are infected is actually going to be the elderly, and in China it was male. So male elderly people, like in their 60s, 70s, and 80s, the older you get, the more chance that you got that it's going to disturb your immune system and shut you down. Also in China, a lot of the guys were like these farmers or from the production line. And if you know, in China, a lot of old people, nearly at least 2/3 of the population smoke. So a lot of the old guys smoking like that, they've already got a lot of respiratory problems. So then they're the ones that were the most infected. So children, luckily that children, they said that most young people, they don't really get infected as much. But unless they're really young little kids are shown that maybe not some in China, but actually mostly they've seen in some of the Western countries now that there's a lot of these little kids, really young, that maybe can be infected. But as we already know, like children, they're always like, with their hands and stuff and like touching everything. So basically that's the trigger for it. So maybe they don't get sick themselves, but then they're spreading it to other people. So that's the same thing, is that you might be young and healthy, you might be an athlete, you might be fit and healthy, and you say, oh, this isn't my problem, this doesn't bother me. Maybe it doesn't bother you, but actually what you're going to do is you're going to take it home, you're going to bring it back to your other family or other people, some older people in your family or your friends. This you can pass it on to. So how does it start? I think you'll find out that mostly is like a lot of really high fever. If you start coughing a lot, or you see a lot of guys starting to cough, or it's hard to breathe. Okay, maybe you're just really out of shape. You might be really you're just unfit if you just climb the stairs and just breathing heavy. So another thing is that don't need to be thinking that actually this is just like the virus. Like there's a lot of paranoia stuff about it as well. So actually, when you start to hear a lot of people talking about the virus, and you start, now you know, it's just, did you touch something, or you see some guy coughing and everybody, they look at them, or you just start to get really paranoid that actually you start to feel sick, or I'm feeling really tired. Because I remember a few weeks ago, I had the same thing. Is like when it was the peak time, everything was shut down, and then I just feel a little bit tired, or I feel like my muscle is a bit weak, and think, I started getting paranoid, think, I've actually got the thing. Did I catch the thing? So this sort of thing, it just plays like mind games with you as well. A lot of the more you're talking about it, the more you think about it, and actually many people they don't have it, but then you just maybe think that you have it because you already just have like these make-believe symptoms, and your mind starts playing tricks with you. So moving on, so actually it's not limited to any particular race or religion. Okay, some guys before, they were saying, African guys didn't get it because it wasn't in Africa. Well, guess what? Now it is. So it's actually already At the time we did this thing, it was like we were researching. It was about 123 countries. It's basically in every continent. But I think now it's going to be even more countries than that because like it's everywhere. It's everywhere. So don't think that your place or your town doesn't have it already. If it doesn't have it, it's definitely on its way. It's already now. It's not just like from China. It's not just like from somebody that came to China or you met somebody that traveled overseas. Most places now, like in Australia, in the US, all throughout Europe, this is like a community, person-to-person spread. So it's actually in the community. There's no trace back to Wuhan. There's no trace back to China. It didn't mean like before that you could find someone at the airport or that came in contact with somebody from overseas. That was the case before, but it's not the case now. So it doesn't say that, oh, because you haven't been to China or you haven't been to Japan or Korea, where it's Iran. I haven't been there, or I don't know anybody from there, so I'm okay. That's not okay, guys, because actually it's not there. It's growing in the community now. It's spreading everywhere. So they say it can actually stay on the surface, on surfaces. Most surfaces, there's around like up to that 2 or 3 days, 12 hours on some sort of like a 12 to 48 hours for sure. But then after, the longer it is, depending on the conditions and the location, it's going to be like maybe if it's in direct sunlight, ultraviolet light kills the bacteria, doesn't last long. Other places, like if it's in a nice sort of a cool metal surface or something like that in a darkened room at the right temperature, it can last up to like 5 days, even longer. There's tests been shown that it can go up to 9 days. 9 days. So it can stay up in so it can be transported through like sewer drains, and also in poo, in your pee and in your poo. So this can last up to 5 days. This was already shown like in the incidents in the Hong Kong apartments where somebody like flushed the toilet, and they said that because the sewer pipes are all interconnected, it actually went through the drainage system and came up to another apartment. And then another guy's apartment, he flushed the toilet, and then the vapors went up onto his stuff. He touched it, then he got it. So like, be careful about that. So far, it has shown that it's not animals cannot spread the coronavirus. So this was a big misconception before, where people were like throwing like animals out the window. You see some guys were like just throwing their dog out the window because they thought that they're gonna catch it from the dog. Animals have their own virus. Their coronavirus is in animals and coronavirus is in humans. Both are different. In some cases, where there was a case in Hong Kong where they thought that the dog had it, but actually could be like if it's a person might have spread it to a dog. So like a person like coughed and some of the vapors landed on a dog and a person pat it or something like that. This maybe, but this cannot be proven yet. But in most cases so far, actually a dog animals have their own coronavirus. They cannot pass it to a person. They did say that the most transmission is actually through like the aerosols and floating through the air. So it's actually been shown that some people sneezing, coughing, and you see like these droplets like passing through the air. But it's also aerosol, so it means that it can like float around in a room. It can float around in a room, or it can like just pass through cracks into the walls and stuff like that. And this is shown up to like a couple hours. This has been shown like in the case for the cruise ship, the Diamond Princess cruise ship, a couple of the other cruise ships, and then also like some of these public buses where some guys were like, where you'll see like they showed where people were getting infected where they weren't even sitting in the same place. But the main thing again is like through coughing and sneezing, things like that, and also from touching. Okay, from the touching thing. So when this is a little bit of a scary one. So it's also been shown that the ATM machines, that you can actually it's possible to catch it from an ATM machine if somebody actually went in there before you and sort of coughed or touched the thing, and then you could actually catch it from that if the machine hasn't been wiped down or properly sterilized. Also, cash contamination. Somebody was passing around credit cards or actually cash. If you pass it to somebody and someone's got it, they don't know how long it stays on there for, but If it's immediately within that first half an hour, or maybe an hour or a couple hours, maybe it's still on the money. So actually in China, they actually, they took back a lot of the money and decontaminated. They said, I don't know if they burnt the money or decontaminated it, but a lot of the things to do with touching. So that's not to scare people, but that's actually one of the main things is actually like touching. So like when on the planes or something, when you went on the public planes when they were traveling. Okay, so the long incubation life. So most cases show like, so it's got a really long incubation life. So this is a little bit scary too, because most cases will show like up to 5 or 7 days before you start to feel the effects, and then it can actually go like even spreading. There's been cases where people have been spreading it for 14 days or even up to 28 days, a month later, before you actually feel any effects, or some guy doesn't even feel the effects. But so it could have shown no symptoms from up to most people for that 7 days to 2 weeks, but some other people up to 3 weeks, even 4 weeks. This is only a few cases though. And then most of the younger and fit adults, they show they can recover pretty quickly. So if you do catch it, then you maybe just feel like it's just like a normal common cold, but then you maybe pass it on to like your parents or your older family members. And these are the ones that are going to be very sick. Okay, masks. A lot of controversy about masks. Some people say, should I wear the mask? Shouldn't wear the mask? Like in China or in Asia, like people wear masks anyway. Like it's always in the street, people wearing it. So it's not like like a taboo sort of thing where you see someone in a mask in the Western country now. When some guys are wearing a mask, they say, people just say, get away from me. Like, you stay away because some guy might be sick or contaminated. But in the Asian country, or in China, like you'll see people wearing a mask anyway on the metro or in a crowded place, and I think that's already a good thing too, because if you're already sick or not. But in general, mask itself, like they said, masks that cannot actually stop you from catching the virus itself, unless you are wearing the goggles and all the other protective equipment. So it's not. That's one of the key points. It won't stop you from catching the virus, but it will sort of minimize the chance. So when somebody's like coughing at you or directly coughing at you, and then you're going to breathe in all these droplets, you can see like actually if you touch something, when you touch something, it's actually the virus doesn't go into your hands or doesn't go into your skin. Basically, it's like when somebody is coughing and they sneeze. The virus is manifesting like inside your respiratory system. It's like deep down in your lungs. You see some, you see some guy. You always see like these guys in the street doing that. When you do that, then all the sneeze just like trickles down like onto a surface or something. Then somebody will go along and then you'll touch it, and then you'll come back up, and then you'll touch your face. And when you touch your face, that's when like the germs are going to like go into your respiratory system, up through your nose, through your mouth, through your eyes. So when you rub your eyes, when you scratch and touch your face, this is where it's happening. So actually itself, it doesn't. If you didn't touch nothing and you did like covered up your face, then you won't catch it. You won't be able to. You won't get it. So that's but actually no one can do that, because they will say that how many times you touch your face, like it touches your face like every hour, like how many times in an hour, like hundreds of times you just touch it, like unconsciously you touch your face. So if the mask itself doesn't really alone doesn't stop it, but it actually, what the mask does is actually covers up your face, and then it sort of like stops you from touching your face. But another thing is also from spreading it to someone else. When you cough or something, you're going to spread it to someone else, because a lot of people just thinking, oh, I'm not going to catch it. I'm not going to catch it. But maybe you already got it and you don't even know you got it. And then you keep spreading to other people. So that's why a good thing about a mask. And a lot of the countries now doesn't enforce that yet, but you'll see when this thing grows bigger and bigger, then you'll see later every country will like, that'll probably be mandatory, just like in China here, that they're going to like everybody has to wear a mask outside, which is good because that's going to limit the spread as well. Okay, they've also shown that 14% of victims in China that actually have actually been reinfected after recovering. So you can actually capture the virus, you can get better, and then you build up the antibodies, and most of the cases your body will build up like antibodies, which is like in most cases when you actually get a virus, where they give you a little dose of a virus, and then your body will build its natural resistance, and then you'll come away from it. So mostly the normal guy, after after they catch it, they can't catch it again. This is mostly proven, but they've also shown that 14% of people can and have reinfected after recovering. But this also could be a thing, is that when the virus wasn't completely out of their system, and it was just in a low doses. Once they got tested, they maybe think that they were fine, and then they were released. But there's also goes to show there's other cases where people have been shown to be tested 2-3 times without knowing that all coming back negative until the third test or the fourth test says positive. So there's a few different things about that. But most people will recover from this. Actually, so the thing is that the people are saying that there's already vaccines in the production now, or some guy is already working on vaccines. Actually, there's like 20 different vaccines that are in development at the moment. This in many different countries. I think Australia has it, China has it, USA. I think someone in Europe has got it as well. But these are all just in the developmental stage. Once you have a working vaccine where they think, okay, this vaccine can work, or what they're going to do is they're going to have a small clinical test. They're just going to test a few guys first, and they're going to run a couple tests for a couple months, and they're going to see, if that guy is good, if he has any infection or not. No, this virus, he's got no side effects. Okay, then they're going to go to a bigger population. They're going to run that thing for many more months again, 3 to 6 months again later. Even more, maybe longer, 9 months again. And then after that, then you need to look at the logistics about production and how to do mass produce the thing, if it's okay. So and then you have to get all the paperwork for all the clearances, there's different contracts involved. There's a lot of legal procedures in different countries to put out some new kind of vaccine like this. So actually, even if he said they got a vaccine today and it's already proven, it's still going to be at least a year or year and a half. A year and a half will be at the most likely, the earliest there will be a vaccine. And even then, even a year and a half later, that will be on record as the fastest sort of like thing in history of all vaccines. Usually vaccines will take many years, some guys up to 5 years, 10 years to develop a vaccine. So if it is done in 18 months, will be a miracle. And everybody said that. I hope I'm wrong about that, but all the studies and all the experts said the same thing, that even if you do have it, it's going to take you another 18 months. So at least by that time. So any guys thinking that they're going to make a vaccine soon or not, this thing is still a fair way out. Another thing that some guys were saying is that they think about the virus is, it's going to get into the hot season, it's going to go away, and then it's just going when it gets hot, the virus doesn't like heat, and it'll just go away. This is true to kind of an extent, is that because that actually when it is in if it's in direct sunlight or in a really hot climate, possibly it won't go away. But this is actually shown that actually in some places already, like Iran, Singapore, Thailand, and Brazil or something like that, these are already hot places and it's not going away, it's still there. So don't expect that the wind, like in summertime, that it's just going to go away. What people expect now is that it's going to be kind of like a seasonal thing, because that they haven't got a cure for it. It's just going to come back. It might die off in the northern hemisphere during the summer, and it's going to sort of proceed down to the southern hemisphere because there's more winter climates there. And then then it's going to circle back and it's going to come back around for the next season. The virus has mutated, it's changing. Since the beginning, it's sort of like mutating and changing. So there's two types of viruses, the S type and the L type. So the S type is sort of like the one, because of all the hype around this thing, when you catch the S type, it's sort of like the really mild version. I like to call this one, the S one is like the sleeper. You could have it and afterwards you catch it and you'll be smiling afterwards because you're not going to really feel much. The L one. Now this is the hardcore. This is the primo stuff. This is the gourmet. This one is mutated. This is the one that's going to, well, once you get the L version, man, you're going to take the L, because basically this is going to give you the organ failure. It's going to shut you down hardcore. And this is some guys were saying that maybe it's in the Iran has the more of this strands of this thing, or even in the US or Korea had this kind of the L type. But L type and S type, there's two types. You can actually have two of the different ones. They said you can actually have two different types of viruses. You get the combo deal, and you can actually get two viruses at the same time. So I don't know how that feels. So you might have like one virus is sort of like the chill one, and then suddenly it kicks in as the hardcore one. Who knows? So what do you do if you know someone, or you think that someone is a suspect? Okay. So the main thing is that you should if you didn't follow the news, self-quarantine, isolation, at least 14 days. Guys, at least 14 days. You cannot do the 5 days or 7 days. It's too short. It has to be longer. Because of this, it's a long burnout. It's going to take you at least 14 days to show. Do not go to some crowded places. Okay? Don't just rock up to the hospital when you're feeling like that you're feeling sick or anything like that. Stay at home. Okay? Stay at home. If you have a small cough, or like you have like some minor symptoms, then sort of just chill out. If you relax at home, stay away from everybody, and then only after like the 5 days in or something, if you have that, then if your condition is getting worse, you're getting really hot, sweaty, coughing your guts out, muscle aches and fatigue really bad, then you should give somebody a call. Because the main thing is that if you just show up to the hospital, there's no one is prepared for you to go there. Okay, so this is where the cases where it says that in the UK, actually back in the UK, where somebody's got sick, they catch an Uber, and then they just rock up to the hospital. Basically, the guy tested positive or something. Then you could pretty much intoxicate. You could infect everybody. All the doctors infect everybody in the whole ward of the hospital. Whole wards of hospitals being closed down, or like the driver or anybody along the way that you could get infected. So don't just like go out. If you really feel like you're going to be sick or anything, just stay at home. Once you call up somebody, they're going to probably give you the instructions to what to do. But don't just go to some place unprotected and just rock up and show up there, because I'm sure nobody will help you. And obviously all the cases now overseas where you trying to call up or you're going to do something, no one's just going to just help you. And I don't know, like you guys over there in the US or something, I heard a lot of stories about that there's not enough test kits as well, the same like the original problem in China. And then there's also like there was not enough people that was handling the situation. So hopefully in these days the thing is getting better. But the main thing that people are really worried about is actually, this is the main issue that we talked about before. We talked about many times, is that the system cannot handle that many people sick. Okay, you mightn't be sick, but then actually you will give it to somebody else. But even if you don't get it and someone else get it, just so many people going into the hospitals or calling up, and then just like the medical team is just like all stretched out everywhere. The hospitals cannot cope with this many guy, and then they're gonna, like in Italy or something, they're gonna start to make a choice. They're gonna say, oh, he's on the ventilator, he's in the bed there. So if you think, oh, it doesn't affect me, but then actually it does, because you might be in a car accident, or you might need an operation, but sorry, the beds are full. Oh, my kid is sick. Oh, sorry, the beds are full. And then basically after the hospitals are really full, then they're going to actually start taking you outside. They're going to put you into like these makeshift tents. And in that case, it's kind of like, this is sort of like a pretty grim story, but like you think about it, actually, it's probably better to be sick or catch the thing early when your country has like the full support and the full system of everything. You'll get a nice hospital bed and a ventilator within the next couple of weeks or in the next couple of months. Maybe that's not the case. Maybe it's just like in Wuhan, where it's going to have like mass, like just like community centers and halls with just beds, and then you're going to just be put in there and just all the people will just be herded up like animals. Now think about that. So when you think it doesn't affect you and it doesn't come to you, then this is another thing that you really need to consider about. And just finishing up on that thing, just basically what we're saying is that what everyone's already said many times, you've seen on the news and everything, is social distancing. Stay away from people. You rather be isolated. Only go out to places if you have to. Always wash your hands. Wash your hands. Just keep washing your hands. Carry around that hand sanitizer. Sanitation of a nation. Keep yourself clean. And one thing I want to finish up on is actually a lot of the guys didn't talk about is like, keep your immunity system strong. Okay? Not only you got to keep yourself clean, but also immunity is obviously, your immune system is strong is when you're training. When you keep fit, keep training, keep exercising, your immune system is going to be really strong. They shut down all the gyms over here before, but now the gyms are starting to open, and they shut down all the gyms around in other places around the world too. So a lot of guys not going to go to the gym, but don't use that as the excuse not to train, because actually that's the time when you actually should training. If you're at home or if you got access to equipment or something, keep working out, keep your immunity strong, keep eating clean, and then also make sure that you get enough rest and sleep. Eat, training, sleeping. You work from home, stay away from people, and use this downtime to sharpen your skills and keep in shape. Don't just let yourself slide. Don't be a fatty in here. It's not the end of the world. Somebody says, "Oh, I'm gonna stay at home and get fat and die." No, you're not. You're probably just gonna get fat, because this is gonna pass. This is gonna go. It will go away. So no matter how long it takes, you will see there will be a light at the end of the tunnel. All right, guys, stay safe.